Headline: EFF sounds alarm over US airstrikes in Nigeria, warns of new imperial battlefield in Africa. The economic freedom fighters have launched a fierce condemnation of the United States over a series of airstrikes conducted in Nigeria on Christmas Day. The party is framing the military action as a dangerous new chapter of foreign intervention on the African continent and a direct assault on national sovereignty. The strikes, which targeted areas in Nigeria's northwest Sokoto state, were publicly announced and described by former US President Donald Trump as powerful and deadly operations against what he labeled ISIL Islamic State targets. While Washington has justified the action as a necessary counter-terrorism measure, the EFF has rejected this narrative outright. In a strongly worded statement, the party accused the US of imperial overreach carried out, in their words, under the guise of counter-terrorism. The EFF took particular issue with the political rhetoric surrounding the operation. They characterized Trump's comments, which included claims that Christians were being viciously killed, and cast the United States in a savior role, as highly inflammatory and religiously charged. The party argues this messaging dangerously oversimplifies Nigeria's complex security crisis, reframing it as a sectarian religious conflict and ignoring deeper systemic issues. For weeks leading up to these strikes, the EFF stated, Western political figures and media outlets have deliberately overhyped and distorted reports of violence in northern Nigeria. They contend the violence plaguing the region affects Christians, Muslims, and traditional communities alike, and is rooted in poverty, state failure, criminal networks, and long-standing governance failures, not purely religious ideology. The Red Berets issued a stark warning suggesting that labeling a region or armed group as ISIL-linked has become a standardized pretext for US military intervention, a pattern they claim has previously resulted in destroyed states, mass civilian casualties, and permanent instability elsewhere. Once a territory is branded ISIL-linked, the EFF cautioned, it becomes open season for American missiles, drones, and airstrikes. The response from the Nigerian government has also drawn sharp criticism from the EFF. They described the Ministry of Foreign Affairs statement, which praised security cooperation with the United States, as an act of capitulation. The party alleges this sets a dangerous precedent, signaling that African sovereignty can be willingly traded for security partnerships. Drawing parallels to US actions in oil-rich Venezuela, the EFF further alleged that Washington's strategic interests in Nigeria are tied to natural resources. They warn that the continent now faces a renewed wave of militarization, driven by what they term fear, religious division, and the language of counter-terrorism. Concluding its statement, the EFF declared solidarity with the people of Nigeria, not with imperial forces and not with compliant elites. The party issued a rallying cry to African nations, regional bodies like ECOWAS and the African Union, and global progressive movements, urging them to recognize this moment as a critical turning point. Their final warning was unequivocal. If Africa does not resist now, it will once again become a battlefield for foreign powers seeking relevance through destruction. This condemnation places the EFF at the forefront of a growing political debate on the continent regarding the scope of foreign military partnerships and the protection of post-colonial sovereignty. The incident is likely to intensify discussions within the African Union about establishing clearer continental protocols on external military interventions.